I think I'm most struck by how Guadalajara really has been the place that's most defined the identity of Mexico, and so many of those elements are here, and need to make sure they're continually preserved. But the most exciting thing I've seen is the energy of the grassroots here, of the students, of the NGOs, and of some of the leadership too, to learn about what's going on around the world and to develop innovative new models and take the best from around the world to, I think, forge the new identity of Mexico and the new identity of Guadalajara through its public spaces.
But increasingly start to look at the center of cities as really where the biggest problem and the opportunity is. In most cities, no one is in charge of public spaces, and no one's in charge of management of public spaces, which we found is 90% of the success of a public space. Design supports the management, but design is actually only a part of it. In fact, much of our work is actually coming into retrofit designs. And challenged the landscape architecture profession to be more responsive to human scale and community uses.
Well, I mean, there's a street life in Guadalajara that doesn't exist in most U.S. cities, certainly. There's people still like to be out on the street and talk to each other. But also some of the things that have been done recently, what we call lighter, quicker, cheaper. These sort of small-scale things that neighborhoods are doing themselves, that businesses are doing themselves. There's innovation on that scale too. There's sort of the creativity of people and is seeping out into the public realm.
Local values and assets is a way to redefine our cities. So how are you going to, as Steve talked about, how are you going to find your what's special about Guadalajara, about your neighborhood, your part of Mexico, and define your city around those assets and those values. More and more we're seeing authentic destinations as the new agenda for creating great cities. We actually speak in a lot of tourism conferences where it's no longer just tourism to go and take the picture, see these 5 things, sort of extractive tourism, and it's no longer ecotourism either, just go and impact less. We're seeing the new tourism is place tourism. People want to go and have an authentic experience. They want to see themselves as co-contributors to the space. By being in the space and appreciating the place they're in, spending money on things that reflect local values, make them feel richer for having contributed in some way. That's a deeper form of tourism. We did a training course a month or so ago for one of the major developers, and they said no longer are we property managers, we're placemakers. They think they can lead value, lead demand by investing in the public realm and create value for their properties. And in many ways, the bigger upsides of investments are if you can invest in a public space and create value that way, and then capture some of the benefits of retail, that you're not just responding to the market, that you're driving the market. And so developers all over the world are starting to realize placemaking is a tool for driving profit.
Our role in cities, the last 5 or 10 years has really been helping build campaigns for change. Instead of seeing how you need change from the grassroots and from the leadership, and how a focus on place and placemaking can be a way to bring together disparate groups. It seems like through these conferences and the leadership of Complot, you've brought together these networks, and that people are talking and you know each other and you like hanging out together, and you're all sharing your learning and educating each other and building a message that is very powerful, and something actually I think is more sophisticated and energized than any other city I can think of right now. I think the next step is how do you build on this network that you've built, continue this effort, but start to focus it more on some demonstration projects. How do you change the culture in the city to better be able to work with and integrate with the movement you've helped to build, and some of the plans that you guys have been supporting, like the Making It Happen plan. That's a powerful message that is you can connect a whole range of different organizations and partners to. And bring in new ideas and experts to add to, but it's your vision, your campaign, it's a party you're creating, and it's a fun creative movement that you're all at the center of.
So we think we're often good at creating parks and open space in cities, but we're a lot of the best plazas and squares are in Latin America, but we haven't learned the lessons of what works about them, and sometimes we're copying some of the things that don't work about them. We're seeing parks as needing to be reinvented with new partnership models, with new financing models. Transportation, I'll talk about, is the biggest limiting factor for your city, but also the biggest opportunity for creating better public spaces, and better, any project that you're doing is limited by transportation, but also that's where its opportunity is. Mixed-use development, I'll talk about in downtowns and public markets I want to talk about too, because that's something Latin America does better than anyone else, but you also have this sort of conflict of there's not yet a vision for how to integrate new models of public markets into your cities that support the informal economy, but also support public spaces. So in a sense, we think that a strategy for creating a great city is creating a city where people feel comfortable and justified in gathering and spending time on a street corner.